Hi, and welcome to a short video explaining how to use the zyBook textbook for our COP1000C Introduction to Programming class. Now, the zyBook is not actually a physical textbook. It's actually a cloud-based web application with which you interact and you buy a subscription to it. That's what you're buying from the bookstore. And we use it in the class to deliver material and quizzes and stuff like that. And I think you'll find it a better way of learning than, say, using random web pages or asking Google or reading a physical textbook. The advantages I see for the zyBook, and this is why I use it, and I've used it for a long time, is first of all, it's interactive in a way that static web pages really can't be, or search results can't be. You actually do things. You're prompted for input. You take little quizzes where you select an answer, and you get feedback on whether or not it's correct or wrong, and you get a chance to do it again. And you actually have areas where you provide code or solve other problems that then get auto graded. And so you're actually writing code in the application, which you can't do, and obviously, in a web page. Secondly, at least the way I use it, it's self-paced. In other words, you can proceed at your own rate through the chapters. There are due dates, let's say deadlines, on the chapters you'll see in the class, but those are suggestions. Those are what you need to hit to stay on pace. But if things slip, you can catch back up, or if you want to work ahead, you can work ahead. What counts is how much you have completed when you come to the end of the class. And there it's just percentage completion, not how many tries. Um, it's just if you get 50% complete, then you get a 50% for that portion of the class. But if you get 100% complete, which you certainly can, you get 100% credit for that portion of the class. So I think that flexibility will also help you some. Um, it's low stakes. In other words, each individual quiz that you take in the zyBook or challenge activity that you perform in the zyBook um, is you can take as many tries as you need to get it to work. It's not like a quiz that's one and done, right? If you get the wrong answer, you can go back and do it again until you get the right answer. And I think that contributes to learning and that reduces, the uncertainty or anxiety perhaps that you would get from the word quiz. So think about that. Also, I think it's generally more memorable to students. Now, there may be research on this somewhere. zyBooks claims there is, but I think that people remember, I think it's a general finding, people remember more about what they've done hands-on than they do about what they just read or just view in a video. And I think by having you do hands-on activities, as the zyBook does, I think that's going to help you a lot with retention of the material. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of sessions in the zyBook and walk through part of how it works, just so that you'll be more familiar. So I'm going to share my screen, and I hope I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go from there. So, okay, this is actually looking at Canvas, and this is looking at an assignment in Canvas. So let's go back to the start of Canvas, just what you'll see in the course when you first log in. And I'm going to go and click on the very first zyBook assignment. So it's down here, zyBook assignment one. In zyBook, yeah, zyBook assignment one. It's an intro, an introduction. It's very basic. And it opens in a new window, so you can still you don't lose your place in Canvas while you're doing this. The first time you click on this, you will receive a prompt to either enter the code that you got from the bookstore for your subscription, or you can subscribe there if you want to pay by credit card. Um, After that, when you click on the load assignment, you'll see what you're going to see now, which is it goes directly to the assignment that's linked to that page. So it took me directly to, because I already subscribed, it took me directly to the programming chapter one, general stuff about programming. And there's a little bit to read. It's not very much. And then there's a basic computer, uh, kind of a simulation, really. So um, if we run the simulation, so it's if you look at the program, it's you get two inputs and you add the two numbers together and you print the output. So, and there's material at the bottom that explains that. Hit start, and so okay, it's going to get the first input. Looks like that's going to be a 2. So the user entered 2. Okay, because the next input, the user entered 5. I bet we're going to end up adding 2 and 5. Yep, the variable z gets the sum of 2 plus 5. And then we're going to output that, and it's going to show up in the little gray screen over on the right-hand side. So that's like an extremely simple program. And if I have to answer probably some quiz questions about it, and they're going to be easy. How many instructions does the program have? Well, it looks to me like it has 1, 2, 3, 4 instructions on it. But just to show you what happens, let me give the wrong number here, a wrong answer. I'll say it had 5 instructions, and click check, and that's incorrect because there's 2 input instructions. Here's the hint: 2 input instructions, 1 processing instruction. The input is the processing is z gets x plus y, and 1 output instruction. So that's only 4. So I'll go back and I'll change it to 4, which is the right answer, and check it. And it's correct. So there's no penalty for my having selected the wrong answer along the way. It's just a matter of, uh, but if I don't correct the wrong answer, I won't get credit. I'll put it back to 5. I won't get credit for that section, for that item. So you want to complete everything you can. And uh, you'll see a wide variety of how these, sometimes they're quizzes, sometimes they're little simulations. Here's the simulation. So uh, that's basically what takes the place of reading through a web page. And um, let's go look now. That's for chapter 1, so it's really easy. Let's go look at say something from a later chapter and look at a challenge activity. So let me get back to my Canvas page, which Zoom has covered up for me. Get this out of the way here. Okay. And let me move Zoom out of the way here for you. Okay. And go to Home. And let's go down to the uh, module for branching. Now, branching is an old-timey word, actually, in coding for if then else, which is really what we probably should call it. Um, okay, here's zyBook assignment 3. So we were looking at 1, which was really very straightforward. Let's look at 3, where there's a little more that you actually get to do. And again, they get more complicated as you go along. Okay, here's assignment 3, and I'm going to load that. I'm already subscribed, so it goes directly to it. And yeah, if else branches. There's a participation activity. So we'll skip down. Let's find a challenge. Here's basically a challenge activity, if I can find one. Here's the challenge activity. You can tell it's a challenge activity because in addition to saying challenge activity, it's coded in blue. So, so let's find the instructions. The view solution, you don't get to see that. That's to help me cheat. The So it looks like a flow chart. And what we're going to do is run the flow chart for different value. It's zyBooks is going to pick different random values to fill in for the variables, and we're going to have to predict what the output's going to be. So let's start it. Okay, looks like um, the number of apples is equal to 5, or gets 5 actually. So the decision block here says number of apples less than 7. Well, I guess we should go that way because 5 is less than 7. So put E to output. So I think, and then put K to output. So there's two things. You always put, whether you put A or E to the output, you always put an X. So I think the output's going to be less than 7. Yep. A and K. And I'm going to check that. I hope it's right. I hope it's right. But if it wasn't, it was right. If it wasn't right, not a big thing. I can go back and say, oh, I see what happened, and change the values. You get random values, so if you go back and do this activity again, it will have different choices for you to make, but it reinforces the same concepts, which is the way that if allows you to switch or branch between two options. And this participation activity has other parts. I did part 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a lot of material in the zyBook chapters. And one thing I would caution you against is uh, don't let your deadlines, slip too much on the zyBooks, because some of the chapters, they're not hard, but they take a long time to complete because they've got a lot of activities in them. It's best to do them uh, as soon as you can. So that's basically what we've got. I'm going to pop that back. There's another uh, cat fight inside. I apologize. The That's basically what you've got for the zyBook. So um, let me stop sharing. And if you have any questions about how to use the zyBook, certainly you can let me know via Canvas messaging. That's the best way always to get in touch with me. Um, and we can figure something out. We can walk through it, or we can have a Zoom session if we need. But usually it's a matter, the problem most students have with activities in the zyBook, or certain activities in the zyBook, is the instructions are minimal. I mean, they really have like one line of instructions. And sometimes if you don't interpret the instructions exactly correctly, then it's hard to figure out what they want for input and output. So, and I can definitely help you with that. So that's it, and good luck. And I look forward to seeing you completing the zyBook materials.